Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome a very senior and respected educator from India, Chitra Prasad. Chitra, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashutosh.
Chitra Prasad is a school correspondent with the NSN group of schools. She's a senior educator and a visionary leader with over 28 years of experience in the field of education. So, Chitraji, my first question to you is, what inspired you to pursue a career in education? And how did you become associated with the NSN group?
First, let me thank you, Ashutosh, for this opportunity. Now, when you ask me this question, who inspired me? Actually, I was a very reluctant educator.
Okay.
I was very reluctant to enter into the field of education. It was my mother who is a founder of the NSN group of schools. Way back in 1968, she started NSN school. And from childhood, I used to tell my mother, I will never come to your school.
Okay.
Because that was a profession I never really liked, because I always saw teachers as very strict people. So I never really wanted to enter this field. But out of the three daughters, I was the only one who was here. And it was necessary for me to enter. I had no choice. So I didn't give myself a choice because my mother was a single parent. I lost my dad when I was 9 months old, and my sisters, who are twins, were 2 1/4. So my mother started the school to perpetuate his memory. So I didn't want to let down my mother. And that's the reason why I qualified myself and entered the school. But today, this school is my heartbeat.
Absolutely. And as they say, the rest is history, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. So, Chitraji, when I was reading about you, I was fascinated to read about two different aspects. One is the holistic education and social responsibility at NSN, and the other is the free education you provide. And we're going to try and cover both these topics today. But let me ask you my first question. How do you define holistic education, and why do you believe it is essential for students today?
Today, the focus is a lot on marks, I should say. Many of us focus on marks. But I think marks is required only up to the entry point. You want to do something in higher education, then marks is required. You want a good job, then to enter that profession, you need, good credentials. But to grow in life and to sustain yourself, I think there are so many other qualities that are required in a child. So I firmly believe that even as parents, what we leave in our children is more important than what we leave for our children. So I thought it is necessary for us to work on the holistic growth of children, which means we not only work on the intellectual development of the child, but we also work on the physical development, the moral development, the spiritual development, the aesthetic development. So we work on all these aspects because these complement your education. You are truly educated only if you develop holistically. And that is what Swami Vivekananda said. It should be man-making education.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. Thank you. And what are some of the innovative teaching methods or programs you have implemented to promote holistic education at NSN?
The day in NSN begins with meditation for about 11 minutes. Children sit in silence, introverted to be with themselves. Probably at this age, they may not understand what is meditation. It's a very big word to use. So we call it as non-doing, doing nothing, just being with yourself. So that's how the day begins. And a lot of these values that are inculcated in our children are through various programs. Coming to physical development, right from primary, we have the physical literacy program for children to create awareness about their body, because being fit is lifelong and not just, confined to school life. you need to be fit all your life. And I think this is something that we have to drive into children. So spiritual development is taken care of through meditation. Physical development is taken care of through the physical literacy program, the PT and the games that they have. The social development is taken care of through various activities that the school has. With a heterogeneous group, they sit together as, the 4 houses in the school. They do a lot of things. They organize a lot of things. So that is taken care of. And lot of other activities to be socially responsible and to be confident individuals. We have a lot of programs. Values are inculcated through a program called School Cinema. Then they have the life, language, and leadership skills, developed through a program called WOW. So all this is integrated with their curriculum.
Amazing.
So it makes it easier for us.
Very well said. But, at the same, a few minutes back, you were talking about how a lot of focus traditionally has been on marks. Have you faced any challenges in promoting holistic education with parents? And if yes, how did you overcome this?
Somehow, NSN has earned the trust of parents. So whatever we do here, they know that it is in the best interest of their child. So inculcating all this in children is something they also feel is very necessary, because when it comes to, say, eating healthy food, we have a snack timetable in the school. So parents happily tell us that we don't have any junk food at home. My daughter will, lecture me if I buy anything like that. I love to eat biscuits. My daughter will not allow me to eat biscuits. So it's like that. It's ingrained in children. And I should thank the parents for their immense support in, doing whatever we are doing. They are a pillar of strength to us in all our endeavors. I should thank the parents, because but for their support, I don't think we will be able to do what we are doing. And we have the full support of parents. Yeah.
Well said. Well said. But at the same time, in it's a big world with a lot of competition. How do you balance academic rigor with the need for holistic development?
Yeah. Now, right from kindergarten up to class 8, these children have a lot of these extra programs. They have co-curricular activities, they have club activities. But once they come to 9, little by little, we start dropping this and start focusing more on academics, because finally marks count.
Correct.
So about till class 8, so it's about 8 plus 3, 11 years of immersing themselves in these experiences prepares them for a life after school. And from class 9 to 12, we focus a lot on academics, because their marks count. They also have a bit of all this, but more of academics from class 9 to 12, which I think is fair enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the young of our country, and a lot of them are in your school, they're going to change the world with all the great work that they're being taught and the values. How do you encourage or foster a culture of social responsibility among students?
In NSN, every Friday, from I think 2014, when our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji announced the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we have been practicing cleaning of the school campus every Friday. Okay. So one house at a time every week, with the teachers, students and teachers, clean the entire school to show that sense of belongingness and to keep your surroundings clean. It begins, charity begins at home. So we teach them to keep their place clean. And there is also a cleanup bell that goes before the last bell in the evening to look around. And we are trying to make it a litter-free zone or a zero waste zone, the school. Other than that, for the last 26, 27 years, the school has been contributing. The social contributions we make year on year, the total amount that is collected, we actually help these government schools. They do not have proper washrooms, classrooms. So we use that, whatever we collect, We use it to help them, have some washrooms. Even now, construction is going on in 2 government schools. And this is the kind of thing that we do year on year. So 17, 18 lakhs is collected. This year, it was around 18 lakhs. We've collected and we are utilizing it for a social cause. We have also built more than 100 washrooms under the Swachh Bharat project, in hand, holding hands with the local municipality. So for the locals here who do not have a washroom, we have done that. Classrooms in government schools. So that is one thing. Then children are taken for, temple cleaning. Then they also go and put up street plays to create awareness on No Alcoholism Day, World Mental Day, and all that. They put up street plays to create awareness in the general public, amongst the general public. So we actually create that awareness about, children looking beyond me, mine, and myself. Live a selfless life, not a selfish life. Always remember, there is somebody who needs you. Today it will be who needs me. Tomorrow it will be what needs me. That will be a huge cause.
Correct.
So if not now, when? If not me, who? Is a question they need to ask.
Amazing. And this is, I'm assuming, being done at all class levels, or do you start this community service in one of the more senior classes?
Actually, social contribution begins from kindergarten, because at that age, they may not know so much about social contribution, but nevertheless, they do contribute, parents contribute. But from class 6 onwards, they go on this Swachh Bharat, Clean My School campaign. They go and, put up on they, put up street plays. Sometimes in front of the school, when parents are coming to collect their children, they put up some plays to create awareness. This is from class 6 to 12.
Very interesting. I was speaking to some other people.
The little ones are also taken.
Okay. So they're getting exposure.
The little ones in kindergarten, yeah. So they are made to share their toys with, children in homes for abandoned children. They are taken there. A few children are taken there, and they spend some time with those children, and they share their toys and their pencil boxes and their stationery. They contribute, and they are taken. They are given that experience of giving, sharing.
Yes. Very, very interesting. The other aspect I wanted to get your perspective on is that people say that given the amount of pressures there are in the world today, and a lot of pressures being felt by our children, there are mental health challenges also being faced by children of different ages. How are you addressing some of the mental health challenges and well-being of students within your own holistic education framework?
Absolutely. I find that more and more, increasing these days. We have student counselors, 2 in each school, full-time. And whenever a child has an issue, we observe that it could be based on behavior or it could be based on academics as well. But they are referred to the student counselor, and the student counselor talks to this child, to the parent. They involve the parent, they give them techniques as to how to deal with these issues at home, and we follow up till the child can be weaned out of those issues. Other than that, the school has something called mass counseling, where from class 6 to 12, one-on-one, every child in the class has to go and meet the student counselor one-on-one, so that there is no stigma attached, to going to a counselor. There are times when they open up at that meeting. Children do open up, because sometimes we cannot make out what issue the child has. But when we have this mass counseling, it's quite alarming to even hear what these children are going through at home sometimes. So in their personal life, I mean. So these are addressed, the parents are called, and the child is, taken care of that way. So we have mass counseling. Then we also have student counselors sessions for children on different topics, like, how not to bully and how to handle, adolescent years, all that. And yes, I must also tell that our children, as part of, I'm going back to social contribution, our children are taken to different schools, in the month of November to address children in other schools on the fragile adolescent years.
Wow.
So they give a talk for about 40 minutes. Two children speak, 20 minutes each. It's a structured speech, but nevertheless, a lot of takeaways are there for children from that speech. So children speak to children in the month of November. We celebrate Infinity Day on 11/11 of every year, and it's a special day for us. And that's the day children, that whole week, children go to different schools, even government schools. In Tamil and English, they give speeches. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm now going to move to the other amazing work you are doing at NSN, which is to provide free education to underprivileged yet meritorious students. Tell me a little bit about this program and how do you identify and select such students?
Initially, it was a little difficult for us to, identify those children, because the teachers have to, give us a list of students who are meritorious and belong to the underprivileged, families. But today, everybody, the whole society here in and around the area, school, they know that the school provides free education. We begin with fee concession to the meritorious. And then the child continues to perform well, then we make it free education for the child. And the child is selected on based on the child's marks. So, and then we do a background check of the child. We have a format, and our person is sent to the neighborhood to check what exactly the parents are doing, and are they really underprivileged. And I must tell you, this is a school which has 30% children from first generation learners, and not all are given free education. Right. Only the meritorious, because they need to value it. They need to know that you will get something only if you excel in something. Right. So there is a value attached to it. Nothing is free in life. Absolutely. So you perform well, we will support you. There are children whom we support even for their higher education.
Wow. And how do you ensure that these students receive the same quality of education and opportunities as their peers in the school?
Good question. There is no discrimination, Ashutosh. They all study in the same class. Wonderful. With all the rest of the students. Everything is given to them. Now, all my support staff whose children are studying here, for them, everything is free. Books, uniform, the CCA, and the excursions, the field trips. Everything is free. And yes, up to their higher education, we sponsor their education. No questions asked. This is not because they are so meritorious. They get it by virtue of their parent working for us. So the support staff, children are doing extremely well. They get free education from NS, and the surplus that we get from our fees is utilized. So around 1.5 crores is set aside to support the underprivileged families. And it's so gratifying to help these people, because they turn around their lives with the education that we provide them.
Amazing, amazing. And how do you measure the impact of all this free education that you have been giving to so many students on the lives of the students and their families?
Yeah, we get to know once they finish their higher education, then we are updated on where they are working. If I may quote my student whose father was a driver in our school, a bus driver, and the child finished her engineering. She and her brother finished their engineering, supported by us. And then she joined a few companies, and then finally she joined TCS. And today she's in Spain. And her brother works for IBM in Pune.
Wow.
So, and there is another child who went to Singapore, first generation, and studied in NUS. He joined Norex in Singapore. And these are all children whom we have supported.
Yeah. Fascinating. So time for one more question. My last question to you. What challenges have you encountered in providing free education? And I know that education as a field has got a lot of government control and a lot of people calling you all the time. So what are some of the challenges you've faced in providing free education, and how have you handled this?
Actually, the challenge is only, using the finances, the surplus. That's the only challenge. So if we run the main school well, we run the schools well, we will have a surplus. And that surplus can be judiciously used in helping, to lift society. We need to lift society as educators. I can't confine education to the affluent, because a nation can be lifted up only through education and employment.
Correct.
These are the two factors that contribute to the upliftment of a nation. And God's grace, we have surplus to support all of them.
Very well.
So that's the only challenge.
Very well said. And on that note, Chitra, thank you so much for speaking to me about your own journey. Thank you for speaking to me at such length about the NSN group of schools and the holistic education that you're providing to so many children. I'm sure generations of children coming out from the NSN group will keep on benefiting from the amazing curriculum that you have developed for them. Thank you also for speaking to me about all the amazing work that you're doing to educate so many underprivileged children. And it was wonderful to hear some of the successes of some of these children. And I'm just, on behalf of our viewers and listeners, I do want to say thank you for the amazing work that you're doing for so many children of our country. Thank you again, and good luck.
It was my pleasure interacting with you, Ashutosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.